Assalamu alaikum, and I'm doing another tag response video. This one was the questions about, the tag was called American Girl, Muslim Woman, or something like that. Well, I don't know if I qualify in the girl sense. I'm still working on that one. But anyway, so this is 20 questions, and I'm reading them off of a piece of paper instead of trying to read them off of a screen because I think it's just easier for me to do it. Well, anyway, here it goes. When did you convert to Islam? And it was September 30 of 2009. I was visiting a site called chatislam.com, and I was had already thought about converting. I just wanted to learn a little bit more, and I discovered this chat site, so I highly recommend it. And the related question is, why did you convert to Islam? Well, at the time, I was researching Islam while I was still working as a home health aide, and I had wanted to know how can I provide in-home medical care to a Muslim if I was ever assigned a Muslim client. So I did some digging, and to make a long story short, I lost that job, but I never lost my interest in Islam. I kept digging, and then, well, September 30, I done did it. I said Shahada. Okay, and the next one, what did your parents think? Well, I can only answer for half of that because my dad died in November of 2008, so he will never know about me converting to Islam or even learning about it until Yom Kippur. That's the day of judgment for those who do not know. And the related question for that is, do they treat you, do parents treat you differently? Well, I can only answer for my mom. Well, she she respects my decision. She says if it makes me happy, then it makes her happy. But she has some concerns about some things, like the fact that I am not choosing a husband through the quote unquote normal means where I date a man and then I decide if I want to get married, or, like some people will live together before they get married, or just live together and not get married at all. But anyway, I'm not going that route, and she's not too keen on that. But well, she'll have to live with it. But anyway, on to the next one. Yeah. Did the parents or other family members convert to Islam? Well, since my dad died before, well, he obviously couldn't do that. And no, my other relatives do not have any interest in converting to Islam. And in fact, some do not even say anything about it. They don't say either way or whatever. So I just keep doing my visual dawah and hope that something clicks. Okay, then next one. What was the hardest transition to Islam? The hardest was actually trying to find modest clothes on a budget because, I had lost my job, so I couldn't afford to just go out and completely change my wardrobe all at once. So I had to do it over time, and I'm still doing it when, a few things at a time. And sometimes I run into a little extra money, and I'm able to pick up a few extra modest goodies. And but that's the hardest part. When you're unemployed, you can't get everything that you want all at once when you want. You have to do it over time. And being a thrift store shopper, I love hitting on thrift stores, so I find some good stuff that way. But anyway, on to the next one. What was the easiest transition? Well, like the video I'm attaching mine to, easiest was actually wearing hijab, because I had bought some hijabs and I had been wearing them at home just to get the feel for what it was like. And I had actually worn them to local masjid when I visited earlier in September, while it was still Ramadan was still going on. I was visiting the masjid, and I shared the iftar, breaking the fast with them, and I got to talk to the imam and other Muslims, and that. So wearing the hijab was easiest, except when I was first trying to hide my Islam from my relatives. I covered my hair with the other means instead of just wearing a full hijab like I got on my head now. But you know, then after I revealed it to everybody, then well, they just have to get used to me with me lidding my head all the time. Okay, next one. Do you wear hijab? All the time. I don't like going without it. I put it on when I get dressed in the morning, and I only take it off for doing wudu. And other than that, you know, I take it off when I go to bed, and that's it. I love it. And the next one is, was it hard to wear hijab? Well, actually, the hardest part is trying to keep it in place. Or the hardest part is choosing which one to wear. Now that I have a fair sized collection, I have to make that tough decision of which one to put on my head. Okay, the next one is, do you pray your 5 daily prayers? No, I actually pray someone else's. No, I'm sorry, I just had to throw it in. Yeah, I do pray both the fard and the sunnah. Fard meaning the obligatory, the sunnah, the optional ones that are associated with the fard prayers. Sometimes I might miss, but I make it up later. You know, you know, everybody has those days. And the next one is, was it hard to learn the Arabic for the prayers? Yeah, it is very hard when you do not have those. Some of the letters have a unique sound that English and Spanish and say Italian or even German or Polish doesn't have. And so I have difficulty with some of the actual pronunciations or distinguishing between certain letters that have very similar sounds, like the letters Sod and the letter Sin. I cannot distinguish between those. And there are some other letters that are like that I have difficulty with, but I get by. And Allah knows my intentions. And the next one is, do you ever feel people look at you different? Well, I'm sure people do. I do not usually notice anyone staring simply because I don't look at other people a lot. It's just not me. I have really never been that way. But, I did notice, well, one person told me that someone was staring at me, and I thought, well, that's their problem. If they're staring, the sin is on them. That's how I feel about it. If someone looks at me in a wrong way, whether I know about it or not, the sin is on them. They have to answer to Allah for it. I don't. That's the way I feel about it. And I've had some. The next question is a related one. Do you feel the need to prove 9/11 was not your fault? Well, for one thing, at the time it happened, I was at home. I was not yet ready to get up to go to work yet because I didn't start work till 10. And I was just getting out of bed at the time that it happened, and of course I was not Muslim then, and obviously, how can I be guilty of something that I was not only not capable of doing physically or intellectually, I was not in the location where it happened, so how could I be guilty of something like that? I cannot even be, you know, guilty by association, so, well, you know, if someone thinks that, that's their problem, not mine. And the next one is, did anyone ever attack you? Well, not physically. No one has ever physically attacked me after I converted. I mean, sure, I hear stuff. People say stuff, And then that goes into the next question, has anyone ever said anything to you, meaning anything nasty or rude? Yeah, I get that. I've been called terrorist a few times. I was riding the bus, and one day a couple guys are talking about how I had a bomb in my box, because I was carrying a box home from the masjid because I had some stuff in it from the night before from Ramadan, where I had some food that I'd taken over, and I decided to wait till the next day, after Juma, to go get my pot to take it home to prepare it for the next time that I would cook to bring food in it. And I had it in a box in a cart, and some guy said I had a bomb in there. And, well, all I do is, when someone says something like that, I simply say a silent dua, asking Allah to guide them, and I just go on about my business. I don't show any reaction because that's all they want. They want to get a rise out of me. I'm not giving them to them. They'll have to pay for that. I don't give it out freely. Anyway, on to the next one. Do you regret being Muslim? Oh yeah, I regret not having done it sooner. I wish I would have known about it sooner. And then the next one, if you could go back, would you not be Muslim? Oh heck no, I'm not going there. I'm not going back. That's, you can't rewind this tape. It just doesn't work that way. And the next one, what is your favorite thing about Islam? My favorite thing is actually interacting with my brothers and sisters, whether it be in the masjid, doing an activity such as sharing a meal, or attending a class like I do, or praying in Jama, in congregation, or just meeting a brother or sister out on the street or in a store or something like that, or interacting with Muslims online, where I might be, posting back and forth between, with some people on Facebook or Twitter, or just here on YouTube, or an email or whatever. Just connecting with my brothers and sisters. That's my favorite thing. And then, what is the hardest thing to do as a Muslim? Well, reading the Quran right now is the hardest, because until I got a large print one, I could not read the Arabic at all, because everything that I had seen was just too small. I have to have it big, otherwise it's not going to happen. So I'm kind of behind, in where I wish I could have been, but I've had a large print Quran for almost a year, so I'm working at it, and alhamdulillah for the sister who gave it to me, and she's borrowing my Spanish one, so for as long as she needs it while she studies Spanish. So anyway, the next one, almost done here. How do you think we as new Muslims can change our ummah and show we are peaceful and loving and want to serve Allah? And the best thing that we can do is stick to the teachings of our Prophet Muhammad, peace be on him, stick to what is in the Quran, the word of Allah, and just live the deen. I like to call it visual dawah. Just live your life according to what we are supposed to do, what we're supposed to avoid, and just don't put on a false front. Just be yourself, be your Muslim self, and let that speak for you, because sometimes an action speaks louder than words. So that's the best way that we can show that we are peaceful and loving, and wanting to serve our Creator. So I think that's a good answer for that. And with that, ends this tag. And